Hello everyone, welcome to my first video about GT Sport. So this is race week where we're racing Daily Race C at Monza in the Group 3 cars, I think it is. So it's been a while since I've done the Daily Race C because the last couple of weeks there have been circuits that I've enjoyed and tend to lead to me getting a reduction in my SR and in my driver's rating. As you see at the beginning there, starting the 9th and a rating of SR, rating of B and DR of C. Continuously always getting knocked back down, but into the race you can see got very good left there at the start, overtook Mr. Vini, our Spanish compadre in this race, and coming around the Radifello chicane, getting abused a lot by Jose, the Swiss guy. And of course here we also have a French friend, Mr. Bernie Stellis, or Bennett, bashing in. You can see continuously swerving over on the mini-map as well, and he hits Jose, who is also not taking it, gets wiped out. So first couple of corners down into Lesmo 1, and I've already went from 9th to 6th, so not a bad start to the race. First handful of corners, and of course this is where we start to kind of settle down a little. Not much between the splits, slowly catching up here on trouble, as you can see now down under the second, but he takes a bit of a bad run onto Rocket, who started the race and seems to be having trouble himself. So through this guy and sitting dead tight up on trouble, managed to take him on the outside. He went defensive, but being defensive doesn't always pay off, and I managed to get him on the outside through Parabolica, which is a corner that I really hate on this track. The others I don't mind. The first chicane, the second chicane at Luga, and then the Ascari, those seem to work much better, but Parabolica is just an absolute torture. Now I have to stay on the defensive here because, as you see, trouble is catching up on me. He's staying in the slipstream, so it was a bit of an interesting first lap. Now the second lap really is more just about trying to defend at this point. It's only the second lap. I've already went up 4 positions, so I wanted to settle down and try and cut that just under 4.5 second lead that Ismax, the other French guy, has. But as you can see, it's a tight enough race around Lesmos 1 again. We're sitting just under the 4-second mark between the top 5, which isn't so bad. Getting Apex and Lesmos 2 there, getting a good run out. So that kind of helped a little bit. That got me away from trouble. Now this is where I was thinking, okay, it's time to start focusing up on Rocket, who had a qualifying time of 1:47. I think it was the high 1:47s, but I was a little surprised to see him get back. And there you see a bit of a mix-up with the last corner of Ascari there. That kind of takes my focus back from being attacking to having to defend from trouble, who we'll see coming up nice and close to us as we come around Parabolica to get onto the 3rd lap. So it's, since I know he's behind me like that there, decide I'm going to stay on the inside because he'll have to go the outside with the slipstream unless he wanted to do the first chicane, and he has to go out, or he had the jam on the brake, so it worked out better for me that I held the inside line and to get away from him, and that kind of takes him out of the race then from this point on. Now he does stay close, but I'm not sure, at some point very soon he must have, he either doesn't brake properly or does brake, and we jumped up in the fourth. There, just you seen Star Wars, somebody must have had an off, so that takes us. And then here, yet again, another bit of a dive bomb, this one, and lost it a little bit too much. And the game didn't ghost me out, which I was a bit surprised at. Ismax, who was leading, having a bit of trouble, and then ends up giving me a good little punt to get me back up to speed. So I appreciate that from him. Definitely, it was a very tight race. You know, the first 5 laps here were an absolute killer. As you see, Isma is still very close. Like, he's still, well, at this point he had a penalty, so he ends up dropping off. And Rocket, who had started on pole at the beginning, he got a penalty, stayed off the racing line, which I appreciate greatly, and that lets me make it up into second. Now, Mass 798, the Italian guy, is absolutely killing it here. He's staying around the 3-second mark in front, but there we can see that Ascari seems to be one of those corners that isn't so great for him. So managed to get up in front here, and catching him brought him down a little bit, but everybody decided to pit at the end of lap 5 onto the start of lap 6. I decided to pit because I seen Mass doing it, so it was kind of, instead of trying to do the overcut, I would just pit at the same time, get in, get out, and then at that we both have the same quality of tires, so it's really down to driving style and see how it goes. And at this point I thought to myself, well, he's sitting over 2.5 seconds in front of me, and he's always seeming to pull away. He's always around 3 seconds. As you see there in split time, he's over 3 seconds in front. So I was like, right, well, second place, it's not bad from 9th position. There we can see a few others dropping into the pit a little bit later. They had started on the hards, so it was just keep it going. There he's sitting at 3.3 over, but again, just decided head down, keep going, keep grinding, and we'll see what happens. And as you see, through Ascari toward the end of lap 8, and the time has dropped down almost 1.5 seconds, so it wasn't too bad. Now at this point you can see that Rocket is still poking about, so I'm still having to drive quite defensively, which was a bit of a challenge, but good fun as well. Not quite sure how he put himself off there, but then he didn't really attack anymore. And as you see, we got a very good run on Mace through Ascari. We also pulled away from Rocket quite well, over 3 seconds there, so he was no longer one of the concerns. It was all about, can I catch Mass on the final lap here? It'd be absolutely brilliant to catch him and take first place on the final lap. Little did I know that it was going to come down to the wire. So here, down the straight for the last time, we're flat out, he's taking a ferry. So here, down the straight for the last time, we're flat out, he's taking a very defensive line. I decide I'm going to go back onto the race line so I can get through the first chicane here properly. And while it looks like he gets a better exit, he's sliding there quite a lot, and just all of a sudden I start to keep the time on him yet again, and we bring that down. By the time we get around here to Luga chicane, it's, well, we get down to the 500s, so half a second. It was very tight. Now here he seemed to pull away an awful lot from me, but coming in through Lesmos, it was kind of, we're sitting somewhat even. Maybe I'm able to catch him a little bit. You know, Lesmos too Could have done a little bit better on the apex there. It was a good apex, but still could have done a little bit better. And here we are, run down Sergio, or Galio, I'm not sure how to say this name, flat out. I wanted to try and stay within at least half a second, because then once we get back down into the straight between Ascari and Parabolica, it's slipstream heaven. You know, it go a little bit wide there out of Ascari, but as you see, he definitely had a bad exit out of there too. I think he's a little bit too cautious, so that just allowed him to get the slipstream. And coming into Parabolica, outbreak him a little bit. He went very defensive, and well, I'm not sure what happened there. He started losing a bit of traction, so I'm weaving back and forth to try and put him off. And well, if you look at the time yourself, it's an extremely close race. Now you should go back, and I managed to get him on the last corner. So that's it for this race. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.